first drought, now flooding and hail, the wild weather continues on the farm in Nebraska. Straight ahead on Grow, we will look at hail damage and information for growers on what to be looking for. Plus, after years of skyrocketing land values, we'll see how much lower they are this year. And we're a step closer to the Farm Bill. We'll have the latest. And we're here at the Main and Keene National Junior Livestock Show. It's time to grow. It affects every farm in the country. Now we are one step closer to having a farm bill. More on that in just a moment. But we start tonight with hail damage as farmers take stock of their crops. NTV's Alex Whitney has our top story.
Summer in Nebraska means it's the season of severe weather, and the storm damage from Tuesday's storm in and around Alma could definitely be described as severe.
It was probably one of the top two worst hailstorms I've had on my property.
A significant portion of the fields around Alma received large amounts of hail and rain that knocked down crops and flooded fields and roads. The damage around the city of Alma was noticeable, but there was a smaller portion of the storm that brought hail of an extreme size, with some farmers reporting baseball-sized chunks of ice.
As you start into kind of the Huntley area, I'm going to say about Orleans, heading east, about 8 miles wide, going clear through Wilcox. Really a rough storm last night. Hail that could have reached the size of baseballs, tennis balls in some of those areas, and just really was a hammering type of a storm that went through.
While there is never a good time for hail, extension agents said that this was a particularly bad time for the crops to get hit. Corn and beans luckily will have some time to recover, but the wheat damaged by the storm was only about 10 days away from harvest. Travis Woolen, who farms north of Alma, says a good portion of his wheat crop was completely destroyed by the storm. But he is hopeful his corn and beans will be able to recover.
Certainly the soybeans look really bad. The corn, we'll have to kind of wait and see. It has a chance maybe to recover a little bit more if it doesn't get bound up by the dead leaves and is able to get some new growth going.
While crops might seem permanently damaged the day after a storm, there is hope of recovery. Extension agents say that patience is key. It can take 5 to 10 days for some crops to show signs of recovery after a large storm, so they recommend waiting to contact your farm agent or insurer until it has a chance to bounce back. Back to you.
We also caught up with an extension educator with experience in the area of hail damage. Here's what you should be looking for.
Usually it takes anywhere from 7 to 10 days to really see some good growth, and just from driving it's hard to tell how much damage, or it's better to get out in the fields and look at how those hailstones impacted the stems and the bruising that occurred both on corn and soybeans and then also on wheat too.
You talked about it a little bit. There's a period between when the hail happens and when you know if your crop's been permanently damaged. And what are you supposed to be looking for in that kind of a 4 or 5 day window?
Okay, so really the weather plays a big role in this too. If we end up with a lot of rainfall and it's cooler temperatures, it takes longer for those plants to recover. If we end up rain is okay as long as we've got some warmer temperatures, and that allows those plants to recover a little bit better. So on the corn plants, what we're looking for is within the whorl itself, you'll start noticing that you'll get some new regrowth occurring, and it'll just start pushing up the stem. On the soybeans, what they're looking for is, even if they're reduced to stems, what they're looking for is if there's, at the top of the stem, sometimes you'll get a plumule, what it's called, and so you'll get some new leaves showing up out of the top of the stem. Sometimes you really have to watch those plants. If you have any type of branching still on those soybeans, what you'll see, hopefully, is new regrowth occurring where that branch meets the main stem. And so those are the things they're looking for.
Now to the Farm Bill, where the Republican-led House has narrowly passed a package. The bill passed 213 to 211. Democrats opposed the measure, saying it would toss too many people off government food stamps. The measure renews the safety net for farmers as President Donald Trump's tough talk on tariffs threatens to close many markets for their products. The House bill sets up a certain clash with the Senate, which looks to make mostly modest adjustments to existing programs and doesn't pick a fight on food stamps. The Senate bill, more of a bipartisan effort. We'll have to see now how they come together. Congressman Adrian Smith weighing in, saying, quote, "I'm very happy to see the House move forward with its version of the Farm Bill, a major step towards giving our agriculture producers the certainty they deserve. After the turbulence we've seen recently in commodity prices, the long-term Farm Bill will help to address the concerns I hear while traveling Nebraska's 3rd District. I look forward to the Senate passing its version of the bill so we can move the process forward." End quote. And some of those folks made their case to the Secretary of Agriculture this week. The governor and state ag director, along with representatives from the major farm groups and commodity organizations, held a Nebraska Ag Forum in Washington, D.C. this week. In addition to a meeting with the Secretary of Agriculture, they met with foreign dignitaries to talk trade and let them know Nebraska is open for business.
Well, certainly that is the concern with if the tariffs do go in place, and even just the talk of the tariffs can cause a lot of uncertainty. It can cause some of our customers to look other places for their products, and so we're trying to do everything we can to keep our products going to those countries in the meantime, and just work with them.
Also part of those talks is Governor Pete Ricketts. We caught up with him from D.C. as well.
One of the things about this administration is that they are very accessible. So anytime I've asked for a phone call with one of the cabinet members, I've been able to get that. Just today I met with Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue, and we talked about the tariffs. In the past, when I've asked for phone calls with Secretary Ross or Ambassador Lighthizer, I've always gotten those phone calls within a couple of days. So we've had an ongoing dialogue with regard to things such as the steel tariffs or retaliatory tariffs on our soybeans and so forth, really making sure that we're providing that information and the concerns of the folks in Nebraska about how this could impact them.
Next, we see just how far farmland values in Nebraska have dropped and find out why a small family seed company finds itself in a bit of trouble.